Hello Pyramid Energy. This is my second video this morning. The one I just posted before this isn't a reading. This one is a reading. It's also officially my first reading on the channel this year, and I hope it finds you well. I don't know what we're here to discuss yet, but what is coming through already, as I was shuffling, I haven't laid any cards, but just as I was shuffling, a lot was coming up about expectation versus intention. I believe this is still on the back of, this divine masculine integration. One thing that needs to be recognized about masculine energy is that it has a lot to do with structure. And so while it brings organization into our lives, protection, structure can be considered rather physical. So this is more dense than intuition. And so a lot of things still need to be changed, moved around, removed. And so be easy on yourself, because decisions take time to make, to come to clarity on which decisions to make, even if you know exactly what you need to do. There's just a lot being integrated. And so be patient with yourself. I remember a dream, it's coming up, a dream I had last year of being at a train station. And because we often have this feeling that the train's going to leave us. But in this dream, and how train stations are quite stinky generally, I suppose, unless you're like in Singapore or something. I hear, this train station was squeaky clean. It looked brand spanking new. There were trains parked at at their platforms. The screens were set up and everything, but everything was off. So these screens are like new, beautiful screens, but not on. And the station was quiet. Maybe one or two other people walking around, but really they didn't come into focus. And what this dream told me was that the message it left me with was, there's no rush. The station has been prepared for you. Nothing is leaving without you. And as soon as your train is ready for you, that screen will come on. 30133. And what's coming to me as I speak about this is, the feminine energy is very much about flow. And to now be told or come to understanding that you need to create certain structures and to be able to carry all of this flow, there's a tension between these two things. There's a tension between these two things because now masculine requires you to take action, which is important. But then if you can quickly move out of balance when you move into action, into structuring this action. And so give yourself the time for all of this to integrate. Set these intentions, but release expectations. And releasing expectations also coming up for me just because there's a certain picture. There's certain pictures that can form in our minds about how we need to do stuff as soon as we set intentions. However, what we need to do, I believe, is to set the intentions and then allow the intuition to speak to us about how this should flow. There are certain decisions that have been made already where you know exactly what to do. You know what needs to happen, rather, let me say. You know what needs to happen. And we're stuck at the how. In this how, this how I think has a lot to teach, this stage. Because it's undoing a lot of stuff. It's undoing a lot of how your mind is wired to operate. I do believe this integration that's happening is asking of us that we, it's like changing platforms in a train station. It's like you're actually shifting paradigms. understand a paradigm as the way a world works, how it operates, the kind of inputs it takes, the kind of output it gives. It's a completely different paradigm to what you're used to. And this requires a huge level of openness. That means things do not operate the same way. That means what you put in is not the same as how you used to work. How you put stuff in to get certain results is just not the same as what you've been taught about how a world works. For example, we are taught that to increase output, your inputs must increase. We are taught that if you want to find a job, apply to as many jobs as possible. There was a rude awakening along my journey when I realized it doesn't matter how many jobs I apply for. In fact, the more jobs I apply for, the more I deplete my confidence, especially when I know that I'm not going to get any of those jobs. You know, I'm living in a different world now. Similarly here, if we're talking about creativity, whatever it is that you're creating, one might set an intention to increase output, whatever that output is for you. And immediately you might want to look at how other people are doing certain things and kind of duplicate that, apply it to your case. But I'm inclined to say, again, you're in a different paradigm. And so how you expect things to unfold and how you're used to them unfolding based on your inputs, that's changed. And so stay open to the simplest, most efficient path for you is the intuitively led path. I truly believe this. I just pulled 3 cards from the Moonology Manifestation Oracle card deck. The first card that came out is Trust the Universe, first quarter moon in Aquarius. On this card, this woman's dress is flowing as she points her hand upwards towards the moon. And the symbol here is the third eye chakra symbol, which is about following your intuition. And so this is saying, put faith in your intuition, put trust in the universe to gather and put the things in place that you've asked for. But there's more, because the next card is breathe through the tension, full moon in Scorpio. And the third card is open up to change, new moon in Aquarius. And so these are, firstly, 2 Aquarius cards. They're both purple, which speaks to me a lot about the third eye. And these flowers on this open up to change is be open to the change, because they're these beautiful flowers glowing here on the right. And this is like where we release expectations, because what the universe can create through your intention is way better for you and is going to bring so much more beauty into your life and your manifestation if you just allow it. And so this speaks to this balancing out of this incoming and integrating of masculine energy and the areas it can sometimes push us to ease up a bit and allow the universe to do some of this work, the majority of it, because we're not now going to move completely out of this flow of creating with ease. It's just that the how we're doing it is shifting. And so allow the how to also be adjusted intuitively, and to not find yourself blocked by the rigidity of how masculine energy can be at times. This breathe through the tension, full moon in Scorpio is I've left this to last. It's the middle card, and I had 10:01 on the clock as I said that. Scorpio is about death. And I feel very much at this time, although this is not a time I feel of grieving, I do feel it is a time of just allowing certain things to leave your system, allowing them to die. This is, you've already felt that sting. You've already felt that bite. And so you know what it is. And it's just allowing, breathing through this tension, because these things are still leaving your body. These things are still leaving your system. And so processing, this is a lot of processing, because it's like processing, you know, if you're used to doing something a certain way and you're being asked to let go of that, to release it, you start to ask yourself why you're hanging on to it. And so that needs to be processed. And again, I don't, bypassing has never helped me, because what it's done to me is that it's made me loop in the same lesson. So the lesson revisits if it's not integrated. And in order to integrate it, we need to really witness the process that's taking place. 1134. The words that come to mind are evolve or repeat. I've been shuffling here, and the Queen of Swords has come up twice. And I've also got 3 kings. I had the King of Swords, the King of Cups, and the King of Wands. And what this is all telling me, okay, firstly, the absence of the King of Pentacles was loud. And what this is saying to me is that this is a time to be very honest with yourself about what you love. You know, there's a leader in you. There's a leader within you that is protective of you and wants you to thrive and will ensure that you thrive. All that it asks is that you are honest with yourself about where are you holding yourself back? Where are you repeating certain behaviors that don't help you, and then why? You know, to ask yourself, you know, you don't have to actually solve the problem. You've got to just get honest with yourself. Because the King of Pentacles is in you already. The King of Pentacles does not need to show up here. I believe what these cards are telling me somehow is that the King of Pentacles is kind of what we want to see in order to ground our work in the world. That's how we'd like to show up. However, I believe his message in his absence is to say, I am already within you. And I do not create myself through anyone doing things the way that they are taught to do them. I create myself through you being honest with yourself, trusting the universe, letting go of things that do not serve you, things that hold you back. Again, a strong message of being honest with yourself and being open to change. This is where the King of Pentacles is born. In this spread I've got in front of me, you're showing up as Judgment, 5 of Swords, and the 8 of Cups in reverse. And so I have you here in the process of feeling pressure to make decisions, but finding it hard to walk away from certain things. And this is a thought loop, if I could call it that. What's crossing you is the Hanged Man, the Knight of Cups, and the Temperance card in reverse. And so what this is to me is that there's a tension between the things you know you have to change, the decisions you have to take action on, you feel, and you're hanging in this space of, I love this other side so much. You're spending time in this zone of wanting things to change so much with these expectations that you have. And it's these expectations are putting you out of balance. because they're making this tension louder of all the things. You're almost berating yourself for the things you have not done. All these clarity cards are coming out upside down. They're falling on my lap, and I checked the deck to see if the deck maybe is upside down, and it's not. So they're just meant to be this way. Where you're coming from, I have the 8 of Wands and the Wheel and the Fool in reverse. This is where you're coming from. Is you've been getting communication. You've received communication that things have officially changed. Okay, so you're in this space. I believe they call this limerence. I looked it up, and at the time when I'm saying this, it was 1551 on the clock. It says here, limerence is a psychological state of being in an obsessive and uncontrollable romantic attachment to another person. It's characterized by a strong desire for the other person's feelings to be reciprocated and can involve intrusive thoughts and feelings of melancholy. Limerence can be experienced with someone you're in a relationship with, someone you've only met a few times, or even a stranger. It can feel overwhelming and affect your daily life and productivity. I felt like I needed to look this up to gain like some clarity on why it's come up. But this speaks to the tension that I spoke about, being between these two worlds. This world you really want, that is now making itself available to you through communication, and this other world where there are things that you feel are blocking you from accessing this desired world and state of being. And I see this reflected in the cards because things are changing. The Wheel is here. And these are changes that you put into effect. But the Fool in reverse says this is where you've been struggling to kind of just let go and immerse yourself. The structures do not allow. In your near future, I have you in the Page of Swords and Strength, which speaks to allowing things to unfold as you explore very honestly where you lack courage, where's your doubt. Not just that, if you're being called to adjust your routine, you might find yourself wanting to completely eradicate something that you feel is getting in the way of your routine, of your new routine. Perhaps that's not what you're being showed. Perhaps you're being showed that it's your approach to your routine that's not serving you. So not actually the things that are in your routine, but your approach to your routine. And so while you might feel like the right thing to do, as it appears, is to eradicate something, perhaps it's to accommodate it differently. And then as you unpack why you're stuck on the other reasons and not the real reason you haven't kind of adjusted your routine to accommodate all these things. Okay, so obviously you're going to be letting go of stuff that you completely do not want in your day. And this cannot be done with everything. Let's be frank. This can't be done with everything. Some things you just kind of do have to do out of obligation, responsibility, whatever it is. But for me, this is more around, where are you not backing yourself? Perhaps there's a time in your day where you can create space. Perhaps there's a time of your day where you maybe are just watching the clock go, where some of these obligations could be plugged into, or, just reprioritizing, putting things in the certain time of the day where you are productive in a certain type of way, adjusting your routine rather than forcing yourself to eradicate something that currently feels unnatural for you to eradicate, for whatever reason. In the area of your top of mind, I have the Ace of Pentacles, the Page of Pentacles, and the Queen of Pentacles. This is a lot of pentacles, okay? And this is a lot of new opportunity that also has within it many opportunities embedded, okay? So this is a realization as well of the growth in your value, your sense of self-value, and all of that. Now, the problem with the challenge with opportunity, because the Ace of Pentacles and the Page of Pentacles is like, for me, these are cards of valuable opportunities and manifestations coming to life, okay? Being presented to you. And the Queen of Pentacles is the one that gets to, reap these rewards and put more into motion through these rewards. So there's a lot that's being created, and you're becoming hyper aware of this. But what it's doing is it's putting a weight on you because of all these decisions you haven't taken action on. In your subconscious, I have the Nine of Wands and the Nine of Swords. Okay, so this is, the Nine of Wands is taking me to the wounded warrior, and when will it be enough? I have these cards together give me the sense that the 9 and the 9 especially, that you're observing yourself and you feel like if you don't do something soon, you might explode or collapse. Okay, so this is what's playing in your subconscious, and what I want to remind you of is you are creating. You are in a manifestation frequency. And so this perspective needs to be shifted. This thing that's playing underneath you, underneath your thoughts, needs to be shifted. And your awareness brought back to the moment. This moment you've brought yourself to, how you've got to this moment. And the full moon in Scorpio is reminding me of breathe through the tension. And so breathe. If you don't know what to do, there's nothing to be done. In this case, I believe you do know what to do, but that it needs time. And it's like one of those grow where you are scenarios. I believe in a couple of months, you're going to look back and you're going to be like, wow, why did I get my knickers into such a knot? But there's a process that's trying to happen here that is currently clouded by your perception of what is expected. And so for now, you're not actually being asked to eradicate, especially if you have tried. Okay, you've tried and then you stumbled along the way or stalled. You're then being asked to relook at why you're stumbling and adjust how you do things, adjust how you're doing them. These things you're still stuck with, re-accommodate them. Change how you're looking at them. I don't think they can remain in exactly the same spot that they're in. But I believe there's something in between that and completely eradicating it for now. And again, you don't want to bypass this because, again, evolve or repeat. There's a reason this is repeating. There's a reason now we're in Limerence. It's teaching you something about time management, about energy management, and also about this process of looping, that it's not always to jump to conclusions, but to allow it to unfold and see how you can adjust things. You also don't want too much too soon. So you don't want too many changes too soon because you are restructuring. And so if you want a continuous flow, you don't want to completely throw out the foundation. You want to remodel, and without having to move out. 2442. You know what I'm thinking about when I see these numbers? This is a time to look at yourself, let's say in the mirror. This is a time to be honest with yourself. I know I've said that many times already today. But to not rush your decisions and take minor actions that you know you need to take without putting too much pressure on yourself, because there is a lot that you're integrating. And you will know the major decisions that you need to take. Those will be so loud, you will not be able to carry on doing anything before you've executed on those. And so this is to remind you that there is nothing major that you absolutely have to do now. If that major thing exists, it will make itself known, and you will not be able to carry on doing anything else before you have done that thing. And so please, breathe through this. You're exactly where you're meant to be. In your advice, I have the Tower, the Ace of Swords, and the Chariot. The Chariot came out on its side, and not just that, it has number 7 on it, and 7s have been adding up in the numbers on the screen as I've been talking today. 7s are about divine timing. And the Tower and the Ace of Swords says to me, there are these, like, I hear at certain intervals, I hear thunder, like a realization, with the Tower. These sharp realizations are your process of shedding. So allow these realizations to transform you. The Tower also suggests that this is not action to be taken, that these things are already adjusting themselves in divine timing. And the Chariot on its side is telling me things are already taking off. They're happening. Stuff is happening around you, for you. This is not requiring action on your end. More, it asks you to relax and realize clarity. In your surrounding factors, I have the 10 of Pentacles, the Star, and the 8 of Swords. And so this is telling me that this is how things would appear to you. You would be seeing the 10 of Pentacles and the Star. You'd be seeing how your 10 of Pentacles, your dream, is coming together. You'd be able to see this for yourself as an observer if you weren't so stuck in your head and looking at things the way you currently are looking at them. Because there's a lot that's being missed in this moment from the pressure that you've applied on yourself. And so this is to say, release the pressure. Release the pressure. And if the emotions are overwhelming, allow them to run through you. There's nothing else needs to be done. If you have emotions running through you, allow them to run through you. In the area of what you want the most and what you fear the most, this is interesting. Got the 2 of Wands, the Knight of Swords, and the Ace of Wands. And so where you see yourself, you've realized that your thoughts are taking action on your behalf, like quickly. Your decisions as well. And while this is something that you've always wanted and want to continue, it also scares you because you fear repercussions. What I'm seeing is almost like someone makes a decision, something changes, and then it's a good change, let's say, and then they're suddenly at another crossroads and they have to make a decision on that, and then something changes, and then so you've kind of realized that, and I don't want to call it in control, but you've kind of realized the level of influence you have over your manifestation. In your outcome, I have the Hierophant, the 5 of Wands, and the Queen of Wands. So obviously these wands are a lot about passion and fire. The Hierophant is the 5th card in the major arcana, and it's coupled with the 5 of Wands there. So this is major change. These cards together are telling me that your outcome is going to be, this is growth. So this is your development as a person, and this is applying the wisdom of not being afraid to reach for these things that are burning. these things that are burning, not being afraid to go there. And I see this as a part of yourself. Because if you approach these parts of you with courage, this morning something about low vibrational kind of energies came up. Even if some of these feelings and behaviors of yours are low, are considered, or you consider them low vibrational, don't be afraid to go there. There's a reason why you're here. And so don't be afraid to go there, because as you bring this fire back down to you, look at how the Queen of Wands is looking at what looks like it begins with a flame in her hand. And she's surprised by what she finds. She's not just intrigued, she's amused, she is fascinated, she is wowed. And so some of these experiences are difficult, challenging, but allow your perception of what they are here to teach you to shift so that you can transmute them and through that transform yourself. You're going through a major transformation here. And these energies are all part of it. These challenges, these struggles, this tension, this in-between you find yourself in is here to teach something. It's here to show you something. And what you learn here, going forward, it's going to be embedded in how you do things. And so this stage is actually very important and needs to be honored for what it is, cannot be bypassed. And I believe that's it. I'm going to pull one more card here out of this Moonology deck. I got work through your feelings. Last quarter moon in Aries. This last quarter moon in Aries is speaking to me about allowing where we want to take action to let it reveal to us what it wishes to reveal, rather than to expect a certain outcome from it. And work through your feelings is that it's put you in this space to reveal certain things on your behalf that are going to lead you into your new how. Sending you love. If you're interested in a personal reading from me, I've left my details below in the description box.